Then there are some non-linearities related to a magnetic material. Right now, in the previous slide, we just drew a straight line which was passing through origin. B is equal to mu H. Magnetizing force in this figure it says magnetizing force or MMF. They are all related by proportionality constants. Correct? H is equal to Ni by L. Here also I can write I, Ni or H, anything. Or I can simply write MMF here in this line because there are if I change one variable to another, the only thing what will change? The scale. Correct? The shape of the curve will remain the same. Only thing what is changing is scale. So we can write magnetizing force, we can write MMF, or we can write N times I, it's all the same. Only thing what is changing is scale. So we can write magnetizing force, we can write MMF, or we can write N times I, it's all the same. So in the previous slide, we had a straight line like this for the material property. How Ni or H is related to flux density. But it's not true in practical material. So what happens if you got a material, you wound some coil around it and created some number of turns, given some current, so it will start from zero. So from zero current, you have zero flux. Slowly it will go to this point. Okay. If you proceed further, what will happen? It will happen something like this. Whatever current you provide, it will not cause any increase in the flux density. Okay, that is called saturation. Means magnetic material is saturated. It cannot produce more flux given more the current. Okay, even if you give more current, it will not produce any flux. It is saturated. Okay, so what is this mu in this region? Delta B, change in flux is equal to mu delta H. Correct? So there is a change in H, but no change in B. Delta B is 0 for some change in delta H. So what is mu? 0. If mu is small, there will not be any flux density. Even if you give large amount of current, like in the air, mu is very, very small, 4 pi to 10 power minus 7. But the beauty of air is it will never saturate. It will be a straight line from here till infinite. So air core inductors will never saturate. Okay, so you get a straight line throughout this. That is why we had the air gap in that first figure, if you remember. It will help reducing the saturation. Okay. So in that case, even the core is saturated, but the air gap will not be saturated, so you will produce some flux density if you provide some current. All the materials will be given with this kind of BH curve. We call this BH curve. It should be given to the designer by the core manufacturer. What is the maximum flux density beyond which you should not operate? Okay, so this is called Bmax, yeah, maximum flux density beyond which you should not operate. So you increase the MMF, you reach to this flux, and then you again reduce your current. So there is a property in these materials that it will not follow the same path. It will follow the another path, and even you have reduced the current to zero, there will be small flux density remaining in the core. Okay, that is called retentivity or residual flux. residual flux density. To make this flux density 0, you have to apply some negative current or the current in the opposite direction, and then it will follow this blue path and then you will reach point C, that is called coercivity. Same thing will happen in the other way around. So then you got some loop. This loop is called hysteresis loop. So if you excite your coil with a alternating current AC, so current will slowly increase from 0 to some value, then some positive to minus, minus to 0, and it will keep on doing that. What will happen? Your flux will not change over a straight line. It will not change according to this curve. It will change it will follow this path. Okay. Again, this is some nonlinearity. Smaller this, better the core is. Smaller this area, better the core is. Then comes mean path length. So for this, we go back to this figure. In this core, the flux will have this path or inner periphery, and as well as it will have this path, correct? It can have the path in the inner side or it can have path on the outer surface, and both length will be different. Okay. So for calculating this magnetic field intensity or flux or reluctance, basically this path decides your reluctance. What value of length we should take? Should we take the inner one? Should we take the outer one? Should we take the middle one? So there is an ambiguity. So what you should look for in the data sheet is mean path length. That's the number given in these core materials, mean path length. Okay, you can use that number to calculate the reluctance for the core. That's again one non-linearity. There is something called leakage. So typically, what do you want? You don't want your flux line to be flowing around anywhere, everywhere. Okay. Otherwise, it may interfere with something else. Okay. If you design an inductor or a machine, if you have a machine, okay, which carries some current and you have an electromagnet inside that, you don't want that flux line interfering with your screen, laptop, or any other equipment. Okay, so you don't want any leakage in that sense. But there exists a leakage because you don't have an infinitely permeable material. If the permeability is infinite, then all the flux line will exist in this. If we have mu infinite, what is the reluctance? L by mu times A. If mu is infinite, infinitely permeable material, zero reluctance. If you have a zero reluctance, it allow any other path or flux will follow any other path than zero reluctance. If you take an example of current, if there is a voltage and you connected a zero resistance across it, 0 ohm connected across a 1 kilo ohm, and then you connect a battery. Where will all the current go? It will go through 0 ohm because that's the least resistive path. That's the least resistive path. So all the current will flow through 0 ohm. Nothing will flow in 1 kilo ohm. Same analogy. If we have an infinitely permeable material, reluctance is 0. So there will not be any flux outside the magnetic material. Otherwise, there will be some flux. That is called leakage flux. There should not be any leakage. And that is why we go for highly permeable material, because we try to reach infinite. So in most of our design goals, we want to reach either infinite or 0. if somebody is designing, making these magnetic material, his goal is to make a magnetic material which is infinitely permeable and no saturation, no leakage, and so on and so forth. Yeah, fringing. What is fringing? Fringing is the effect in case of this situation where you have an air gap in the core. What happens? The flux will leave this path and it will enter. The flux lines will leave from top limb and it will go towards the lower side. But in between, it will see change in the medium. Okay, there is a change in the medium from magnetic material to air. In this region, what will happen? The flux lines will go like this. Okay, it may try to leave from the top somewhat above and try to enter from this side as well and go further. So what happens? Eventually the cross section area in the air gap increases slightly. That is called fringing effect. The aim of these kind of core is to focus the flux. If you have I core, something like this, and you have some coil connected like this, so you will have flux line like this in the air, and it can go anywhere. It can go something like this also. But this path is higher, is longer than this, so the flux will be low in that path, but it will be high in this path. So further you go, you will have low flux, but still you can have flux 1 kilometer away from it because of this, but it will be very negligible. So these are leakage. So there is a flux in air gap. But if you make a core like this, then the flux will go and enter here, because this is the least reluctant path it will see. Any other path will be high reluctant. But still you have this part in air gap, high leakage. Then you can go ahead and do something like this. Then it will try to focus all the flux in this and it provide less leakage. So less air gap means less leakage. That is again a thumb rule which we take. If there is a air gap, okay, no, air gap is not good because it provides leakage. But if air gap is not there, you have a high chance of saturation. So again, advantage, disadvantage. So these are the 5 major nonlinearities which we want to discuss.